This video will go through all the fundamentals you need to improve your speed in GT7. I'll go through trail braking and cornering and provide a few tips and tricks to eke a bit of extra lap time out. So coming into turn 1 here, always important to spot your braking marker. So after that 150 meter braking marker, I'm 100% on the brakes. Now you may have heard the saying to only brake in a straight line and that when you steer, you never brake. This is not entirely true, and if you're doing this, it's likely where you're losing a lot of lap time. So what we actually want to do is something called trail braking. What this means is when you're in a straight line, you brake 100%, as you can see here. Then as you turn the wheel, you release the brakes. Remember this rule of thumb. The more you steer, the less you brake. It's an inversely proportional relationship. So I'm going to roll the clip on now. So look here, as I start to steer, I lift off the brakes, and the more I steer, the less I brake until I eventually lift off them completely. And I'm just showing it again here. So look, as I begin to steer the car, I release the brakes, and the more I steer the wheel, the less I brake, until eventually I've turned in as much as I need to for the corner, and I therefore lift off the brakes completely. As you see, I've straightened out the car and I'm full throttle. Now you may be thinking, I get that, the more I steer, the less I brake, but you might be asking, when do you totally lift off the brakes? Well, as a general rule, I'd say that you would completely lift off the brakes when you're approaching the apex of the corner. Why? You're always steering at your maximum amount at the apex of a corner, so it makes sense that this is where you're no longer braking at all. That's just the way I like to think of it. So rolling the clip on now, approaching the apex. Now you can see I'm as close to the apex as I'm planning to be for this corner. I've got the maximum amount of steering lock that I will need throughout this corner, so now I'm fully off the brakes. So remember, when you've reached your maximum amount of steering that you need for that corner and you're at the apex, then you should have your brakes fully released at this point as you start to then apply the throttle. So that's a general rule for braking. Now for the next lesson is where you should be looking during the corner. So approaching the next corner here, you're going to give a quick glance to your braking marker. In this case it's the 100 meter board, and then you want to be looking solely at the apex of the corner. Focus all your attention there. It will help you steer towards the apex more accurately and will also help you with your braking. So rolling the clip on now, braking after the 100 meter board, lifting off the brakes as I turn in, and now as you can see I'm at the apex here, and look, I'm almost fully off the brakes, so applying the same rule as before. Now what I want you to do is focus all your attention to the exit of the corner. Why? Well, you always want to be looking ahead to where you're going to be. Getting it in your mind earlier will allow you to place your car more accurately at that particular spot. So remember, always looking ahead to where you're going to be, which is right there at the exit of the corner. We're done with the apex now. The braking's completed, we've hit it successfully, so focus your attention on what's next. Remember, always look ahead, not to where you currently are. So you can see now I'm looking ahead and I utilize all the track on exit. So I'm just going to run through it again. A quick glance to the 100 meter board, now fully focused on the apex, braking 100% after the 100 meter board and lifting off the brakes as I steer. At the apex, I'm now fully looking ahead towards the exit of the corner and I utilize all the track on exit successfully, gaining time. Now this next corner is a bit odd. It's a bit like the first turn at Suzuka. You start off on the inside and bring the car outwards to then cut in again to hit the apex here. So replaying the clip here, I'm just starting to position the car more towards the edge of the track for a more traditional racing line of least resistance. Now here, I might take a quick glance towards the edge of the track because that's where I want to be, just to get it in my head, but sometimes if I'm feeling confident, I'll just keep looking right towards the apex. But you can see here, I've made a small mistake. I should be closer to the edge of the track here so that I can get a wider turn in for the corner, but I've failed to do so. Now I'm on a tighter line and I'm going to hit that apex too early and I'm just going to wash wide on exit. So now I've got to quickly get the car over to the right here so I can be on a more traditional racing line for this next corner here. So you can see now I'm braking, lifting off them as soon as I turn in more and more, and now as soon as I'm off the brakes I'm back on the throttle looking at the exit of the corner, and I've still got a good exit actually, so minimal time was lost there. Heading towards the next corner now, the Dunlop sign is the braking marker, braking just after it, turning in, lifting off the brakes, then looking ahead towards the exit of the corner. Use all the track, it's there, so use it. Now for this next corner, I want to aim for a later apex to prioritise my exit by straightening out the car and getting on the power earlier. You see, I'm just applying the brakes slightly mid-corner to rotate the car more towards the apex, but I do miss it slightly, hence I lose some time. Now heading into this corner, once again it's similar to the Suzuka one where you start on the inside of the track, so I'm going to feed the car wider to about the middle of the track here to get a more traditional racing line of least resistance. I'm not going to go out too wide because you end up travelling further as you're taking a longer arc around the corner, covering more distance. This would usually allow you to get a better exit, which is good if you're going onto a long straight, but given the next corner follows right after, you won't gain back the time and you'll just lose time overall. So coming out wide, just dabbing the brakes to rotate the car towards the apex. Now we have another similar corner to the one we've just been through, but this time I'm going to go out right to the edge of the track, taking a longer arc and covering more distance. While this will lose me time during the corner, it will allow me to straighten out the car better, gaining more time on exit. This time gained will then snowball as a very long straight follows, whereas for a previous corner there was no long straight, hence why it was not feasible to run out that wide. So now I brake, feed the car back towards the apex. I miss it, but I still carried enough momentum to get a decent exit onto the main straight, straightening out the car well without scrubbing off too much speed, and now it's just a drive to the line. Now of course these techniques will take some time to master. Don't expect to just watch this video and then you're suddenly going to be perfect at doing these techniques. It will take time to implement it into your muscle memory, but I'm positive if you haven't been doing any of these techniques before and you go away now onto the game and apply them, you will 100% be faster and more consistent. So practice, that's the key. That's all I can say really. Just keep practicing and you'll get there. Now of course as well, I've tried to explain these techniques in the most simple way possible, but it can be complex to explain sometimes. But eventually you will just essentially get it into your muscle memory to a point where you won't really have to think, oh, I need to lift off the brakes now, oh, I need to do this, or oh, I need to be looking at it. It will just come naturally to you. The more you do something, the more natural it becomes. So again, leads into my previous point, which is just practicing, and you can all get it. But that's all from me though. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe. And now here is the full lap so you can watch it back with no commentary and no cuts.